Let's go watch it in 2D. No, let's go watch it in 3D. But if we watch it in 3D, then is it worth the cost?
The universe is in chaos. We need an Avenger.
Let's do this.
This is Mr. Beck. He's from Earth, just not ours. The snap tore a hole in our dimension.
You're saying there's a multiverse?
Awesome! Spider-Man Far From Home.
Hello, hello, hello. This is Adolf Vega, and I have with me Jake.
Hello, folks.
And today we're doing the Spider-Man Far From Home 3D review. As always, we talk about the 3D element first. Jake, this is your review, so what'd you think of the 3D?
Wow, this was really good 3D. I mean, there were pop-outs, some pop-ins, and one great, just out of the blue scene when Aunt May throws something to Peter. The entire audience basically ducked.
Now, the scene, I know what you're talking about. It wasn't like a gimmicky scene either. It actually is something that is kind of important to the plot later on. You don't know it when you watch it, but later on when you think about it, like, hey, that actually worked. So it's actually a really smart use of 3D, and it's a, clever, fun scene, so it works.
Uh-huh. Oh, and all the scenes with Mysterio and the elementals. Oh, all that carnage and the smoke and the stuff. It looked absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, Mysterio was like flying around and like flying towards you, flying away from you. It looks really nice. Yeah, those action scenes are just top notch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the 3D is well worth it. I mean, you are literally missing a third of the movie if you don't see this in 3D. This was meant to be seen in 3D.
Now, you mentioned in your review that the different locations in Europe really got your eye. You want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah. I mean, anybody who's a fan of 3D has seen travel documentaries because there's so little 3D content for home viewing. So even if you're not that into travel logs, you've seen them. Or you probably have. And these were shot, and they looked even more gorgeous than most of the travel stuff, which is a natural 3D most of the time. I mean, it was enjoyable on its own, even if the movie was terrible, and it's not. It's a great movie. The visuals would be wow. I mean, Prague looked awesome. I mean, every place they went, it was beautiful. To Venice, I mean, the canals. I mean, it was gorgeous to look at.
Yeah, there's one scene in like a flower bed, which you obviously have no idea what we're talking about without watching the movie. That I was like, whoa, that's really nice.
Yeah, exactly. That looks nicer than the stuff I've seen people locally shoot of flowers.
So,
I mean,
what's your grade on it? What's your verdict?
This is great 3D.
Now, maybe my theater wasn't as finely tuned as yours because I feel like that scene that you talked about where Aunt May threw something to Peter, like it didn't really pop out that much to me, and I felt like some of the scenes where the characters are just talking to one another are just kind of meh. But for me, I still very much enjoyed it. I won't give it great, but I'll give it very good. Good 3D. So either way, I think it's pretty safe to assume that you will enjoy the 3D aspect of this movie, at the very least. Hopefully you have a great theater you can go to and enjoy it. Now onto the movie itself. So Spider-Man Far From Home carries a lot of weight. It is a movie that is a sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming, and also kind of is and not really a sequel, but a continuation of the story from Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, and it also manages to push the Marvel Cinematic Universe forward. It is a big weight this movie has on its shoulders, and it handles it pretty damn well.
Yeah, this had to thread more needles than Netflix's Iron Fist show, which, if you've seen it, how ham-fistedly they tried to even tackle. And this movie just threads it all seamlessly. It's perfect, practically. I mean, they even made most of the exposition scenes interesting, if not exciting, because it's exposition. I mean, they just get through so much information. This is like this is a great juggling act and magic trick, because they really use the trailers and the whole marketing campaign as a sleight of hand to pull off some surprises on the audience. To describe it any more than that would be spoiler territory.
Now, the basic story here is that Peter Parker goes on a European trip with the school buddies, and this takes place after Endgame, so we get some information on the school and what happened. But it handles everything really well, and of course there is a new character called Mysterio, and there's elemental monsters, and it all kind of wraps together. And if you're a big Spider-Man fan like me and you are, we know all about Mysterio, but the casual moviegoers will know nothing about this. But even then, I think they do a really good job of making this character interesting, and Jake Gyllenhaal is fantastic in this.
Yeah, he really sells it, and he really sells this. And he's not alone. There's a whole lot of great people in this movie. The kids really get a chance to shine. And then you've got three separate romances going on. I mean, there was enough with that story alone. Somebody could have made a good movie of just those three stories. But they threw a whole superhero movie on top of it. I mean, and did it well. I mean, this movie really has it going on.
The only issue we may have is that the pacing kind of can slow down here and there. And that's the only real issue. It's kind of a minor thing. It kind of hurts some of the flow, but overall, it's still very enjoyable. So what's your final verdict, Jake?
I gave it a 9 out of 10.
The pacing got me a little more than you. And some of the Iron Man stuff I was kind of tired of by the time the movie ended, which I'm not going to talk about, spoiler free. But I still give it an 8. I'm right there with you, just a little bit underneath you for both the 3D and the final score, but definitely worth your time. Not a great time. Definitely stick by for the post-credit scenes. Those two are a doozy.
Yeah, stay through to the absolute very end of the credits. It's wow.
All right, that's it from us. Bye.
Bye.
All right, before this podcast ends, I want to give a thank you to my patrons. Right now, we have one patron, which is David from Spain, and I want to thank you for your financial support.
All right, so that's going to be it for this podcast.
We now have a Patreon, and the link is in the description. Thanks for watching.
And we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, a little bit everywhere. Just look for us, 3D or 2D. And of course, review us on iTunes. And if you want to write us a letter, our email address is email3dortwo2d@gmail.com. So that's going to be it. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.